Hey everybody, welcome to the Design and Style podcast. I am your co-host Dixie with Dixie Willer Design. And with me as always on this beautiful podcast for designers by designers. Because I somehow left that out. I gotta get it in.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, our tagline's missing.
I got it. For designers by designers.
And we don't edit.
No, which is what makes it more fun.
Yes.
But with me as always is the lovely, effervescent
Rachel Moriarty with Rachel Moriarty Interiors. Hello, Dixie.
Hello.
We have a good one today. We have
Yes.
a really good one.
I'm super excited.
I know. So we're kind of going through the framework of our visibility challenge.
Mhm.
And this is a good one. So last week we talked about sort of stories we tell ourselves and mindset and all those things that kind of trip us up. And today we're going to talk about observation.
Mhm.
And
Observations. I don't even know if that's a word, but it just sounds cool.
I know. Everything. We should do a podcast in like a fake French accent.
Oh my gosh. Oh, no, you don't want me to do that because it always ends up some weird thing when people are like nobody on earth talks
come
like
again?
that.
Come again? Are you, what accent
Not for
are
me
you
anyway.
So what do we want? How do we want to start?
So the observations are, last week we talked about, is what you're doing working for you?
How's that working for you?
Yes. Well, now we're going to talk about why you do it. Like, I'm watching you do these things. Why are you doing it? I know the number one thing that we hear, number two. There's two. We've talked about it before, procrastination and perfectionism. Mm-hmm. We've talked about them on the podcast before, but those are two huge ones for why.
Yep. And one of the things we wanted to talk about is we are coming off, well, it'll be a couple weeks past, but over the weekend was my 1 year Riffiversary.
Happy Riffiversary.
Thank you. If anyone is new to the podcast that doesn't know me, I do a daily live stream on Facebook called Rachel's Daily Riffs. I started it on August 5th of 2016, and so I just passed my 1 year Riffiversary. And we were talking about how I had never actually set out to go a whole year. And when I listened back to what I said on that 1 year anniversary, what I said was, I didn't set out to do a whole year. A year is too big. Who would do that? That is an exact quote from what I said. And when I listened back, because I'm a pretty fast talker. So as I was saying it, it just came out of my mouth, right? As a thought. But when I listened back, then I reflected and I thought, wow, now it became a huge accomplishment because I realized how big going live every day for a year is. You know what I mean? And with hindsight, I was like, wow, I did that. So what did I do? I actually had to condition myself, even though I didn't know I was conditioning myself. With hindsight, I conditioned myself to show up on the daily, right?
Yeah.
What I did is I started a 30-day challenge. It was just a personal 30-day challenge. And a friend of ours had a 50-day challenge. And then it was, I just did it in these chunks that I felt were manageable for me. Sometimes it was just get some lipstick on and just show up today. You know what I mean? It was
yes.
Not even past today. Like, come on, girl, you can just get up and do this, And then, here we are over a year later, I'm still doing it. It's effortless pretty much now.
Did you go back and watch your first one?
No.
Oh, you should do that. I haven't gone back to your first one yet, but I would love to see the contrast between the two. I have just thrown her for a huge loop.
Yeah. I don't think I want, you know what? I should, because I'm actually not. What happened was I got used to watching myself because I have watched,
Yeah.
But I, I think, I don't think I'm going to be as judgmental as I think, or I bet it's not as, it's probably not great because I know they weren't, but just, and what I mean by great is not that they're great now, but the comfort level is, I just have a huge comfort level now that I didn't have. And I know that. Because really the comfort level came, like, I think during that first 30 days. And it was after I got a tripod, and I'm a hand talker. If you are watching us
I
on
remember the first.
Yeah, you will know that I'm a hand talker. And it was really hard for me to get my thoughts out. So I didn't know what I didn't know. And so I was just, anyway, I should go back. You're right. I should go back
and
just
see
to
all
see
of
how
the
far I've
growth.
come. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because I think that's the thing, that when you're starting, you tell, like you said, nobody would tell themselves, I'm going to do this every day for a year, because it just seems so huge and overwhelming.
Yes.
But just a little chunk at a time.
Yeah.
Little bitty ones.
Know that you're going to get better.
What is there's a saying somewhere about, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
For those elephant eaters.
Poor elephants. We're not going to eat elephants, I promise.
So, one of our strategies would be to set mini goals, right?
Yes.
Little mini,
yes,
actionable. You could even set bigger goals with mini goals in that, like a 90-day goal, but a 2-week sprint or something like that,
breaking it up into smaller chunks.
Exactly. We know that our businesses is, it's a long game. It's a very long game.
What? No, we just snap our fingers and it happens, right?
Yeah, it's just a hobby, no big deal. Yeah, so the sooner you get started, the better. Set your mini goals. One of the things that Dixie and I deal with, I don't think we're alone in this, is procrastination. We were talking about some of our favorite procrastination ways.
Yes, I've come up with some really good ones lately that I didn't realize I was doing. I love to read. And my thing would be, when I didn't want to face all of the things I needed to do the next day, I would actually stay up way too late the night before reading, which is idiotic when you think about it. When you stop and look at it, you're like, well, that's pretty dumb. But totally, yeah, I don't
sabotage your next, totally like sabotage your next day, right?
Absolutely, which is, like I said, it's just dumb.
I know. Oh, I'm the same way. So some of the tools that we teach in our group for visibility is Pick Stitch, or a collage app, as well as the Ripple app, which is a little video app on our phone. And I will do the same thing. I use it. It's very relaxing for me to do it on my phone at night. It's almost taken the place of reading. But what I will notice is the perfectionism kicks in.
Yes.
And so with the procrastination, the perfectionism, and then this little tool that has been awesome for my business, I will use that to keep me really busy and stay up. Same thing. It's something also about the light in my eye, that will keep you up pretty late at night too. And I'll wake up the next day, totally sabotage my day, because I like to get up really early, and I won't. And then just sets the tone for the next day.
It does. It so does.
So
it's funny to me though, that, it's something, another way that you can use that as a crutch is if you just keep doing the collages and the ripples and never take any next steps past that. They're awesome. And they look so good, but you got to keep moving forward.
Do you mean trying new tools or not
Mm-hmm.
sharing them?
Trying new tools, maybe not sharing them. Maybe you don't get them perfect enough in your own head, or maybe all you do is share those and don't share anything about yourself.
Right.
Nothing, I'm not saying you have to go out and do a year of Facebook Lives, but if you think that those ripples are good enough, it's not going to be good enough.
No, one thing I learned from doing a year of Facebook Lives, or I think, was going through the journey. A year in someone's life, life is going to slap you upside the head in big
Yes.
ways. I had 2 major deaths in my family
Mm-hmm.
during this Facebook Live challenge. That would have been a perfect reason not to go. And there were days that I was too sad to go on live. But I actually use those as content.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the ways I would go is just, and not that like, oh, I use my dad's death as content. That sounds sick. But what I would do is share with people, hey, I'm going to not go, I'm going to keep it short because I'm sad. I'm not bringing the energy. Just let people know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a way of connecting with people because I was so authentic about what was going on in my life. But then there are so many things that happen when there's a death in your family. We are interior designers, right? So what does that lead to? Then that leads to other real life things that I can talk about, like how do you deal with grandma's china hutch?
Yeah.
How do you, declutter now? Because
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you take those real life things and you keep creating content from that, because
they absolutely apply. Or even like in my aspect of things, knowing, okay, someday you're going to be in a position where you may need a wheelchair or a walker or something. And I hate the term age in place. Universal design sounds so much better, but when you're planning your home,
that's so funny. I think the opposite, which is
really?
So not even surprising with us too.
I know. No, normally we disagree. But I want to be able to not have to move just because I can't
mobility
around
issues.
Mobility issues. So when you see those things happening in your life, like I saw it with my grandmother. When my grandmother had a stroke, my grandfather came up with some of the absolute most creative ways. He was an engineer, so he had all he's still alive, but to see it, you can take that and put it in terms that are relatable. You're not just saying, oh, you need to do this because. You're saying, look, I understand. Here's why. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. So what were we talking about, though? How did we get off on that tangent?
I don't know, but I'm going to hop straight into sports because that's what I have next. So the long game. The long game is where we got off track. So our businesses are a long game, and you need to keep working at this stuff every day. But think about like Olympic athletes. They didn't become Olympic athletes overnight. They had some talent and skill.
But natural gifts and talents.
Natural
gifts we do, right?
Exactly. But they worked on those regularly. Hours and hours and hours. And they didn't just work on their thing. They worked on the other, if they're a hockey player, they worked on, I don't know what football player. So they work on
We're not Canadian.
ballet.
We're not Canadian, so we don't know what hockey players do.
I wish somebody would tell me what hockey players do to condition. I've only heard about football players. So football players will do ballet because it gives them flexibility and balance and stuff like that. Or you work on different aspects and you grow. Mm-hmm. And as you practice them and get better at all of them, your overall skill level increases until the next thing you know, you are an Olympic athlete.
And that's what we're trying to reach, right?
Right.
We're trying to become Olympic athletes in our businesses. So,
absolutely.
It's all about conditioning yourself
mm-hmm.
to set goals, to work your way towards them. Our way is online visibility and in-person
In person.
visibility because we get referrals. We have grown our businesses in different ways. Dixie
Right.
through her in-person community and me through my
Mm-hmm.
online community. So it's super important to figure out how you're going to be visible, what's holding you back, what you can do, how you can condition yourself, set some goals.
And make sure you're not conditioning yourself to not grow, because we can condition ourselves through the procrastination and the perfectionism to
And
just stay put.
busyness.
Yep.
Exactly. We talked about, Dixie had seen something recently where someone said, we have conditioned ourselves basically not to be uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
if it's hot outside, we've conditioned ourselves to stay in the car or in the house, under a climate control situation. We will maybe not exercise that day.
Mm-hmm.
Not real athlete, not Olympic athletes though. They would do it in any, you see football players in the snow doing it.
Well, the guy I was watching had climbed Kilimanjaro in a pair of shorts and then his hiking
That's
boots. Like, he didn't have on a shirt. Oh, did I not mention
shirt?
that? He had on
No.
shorts and that was it, besides his boots.
Holy
But
cow.
he had conditioned himself to accepting such a wide variety of conditions that conditioned himself for conditions. But that he was able to do that. They had him, he was shoveling snow in his bare feet in a pair of swim trunks.
What?
Yeah. And then laid down in the snow and was making snow angels
Oh my gosh.
and was perfectly comfortable. Now, he may be a little crazy, but the
Oh yeah,
point is, as
for
human
sure.
beings, we're meant to adapt to what our situation is and adapt to the external forces on us, not to just sit there and hide from them. And I think
Right.
that's what we kind of do sometimes, is we hide from those external forces because we like being.
Or anything, like you said, anything that's like, oh, I got all this to do. Well, I'll just
Yeah.
do this over here,
Oh,
this thing that I like to do, instead. So we've conditioned ourselves out of, being uncomfortable.
mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And as entrepreneurs, we've talked about this before, we need to stay uncomfortable. Do not get comfortable. That would be the death of your business.
That's right. And we're not talking you have to go and do all of the big league stuff right now. Just do that extra little bit every day to stretch yourself.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does.
We know, we can sit here and know, we're doing a visibility vision board challenge in our group right now,
Right.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
we're getting the visuals of where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
My struggle is in person. So a lot of my vision board stuff is in person, like hosting workshops or hosting a conference or,
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yep.
That's where I want to push myself a little bigger, right? Um,
And guess where mine is?
Let me guess.
Well, I'm
Online?
pretty good with the in-person stuff. There are a couple of big ones. I'm not super comfortable with crowds, but most of mine are online stuff.
How about speaking? Are you able to speak in front of people? Do you have an issue with that?
I do not now, but that was something
Because
I
you
had
have
to.
to do that, right?
I went to Toastmasters for 2 years to work on it
Oh my gosh.
because I had let myself get out of the habit, and yeah, I needed that. I needed to exercise those muscles. They had gone completely slack, but you can build them up. You don't have to just sit there. I cannot believe we are using sports metaphors, but it's
No.
so true.
It's so true. It is so true. I mean, I'm even thinking of, right now, I mean, I literally, this entrepreneur game,
Mm-hmm.
totally, it's so not good. I just got like physically lazy,
Yeah.
just sitting on my laptop,
Uh-huh.
and so I finally, had to, I'm like, I literally could not condition myself to get out even to do. I really just couldn't condition myself to stick with anything. So what did I do? I hired a coach.
That's right.
And so now if anybody's watching on YouTube, it's like, I have this, I'm drinking a gallon of water a day. I mean, I had my 30-year reunion. I felt terrible yesterday, but I knew, she was waiting for me on Monday. Did my Zumba last night, so if you cannot condition yourself, there are some instances where you can't. That's where you come find Dixie and I. We will help you. We can help you together. We can coach you together if you need it like a holistic, or if you're like Dixie and you struggle with online, you come to me. If you're like me and you struggle with in person, you go to Dixie. Sometimes you need somebody to call you on your stuff, to help you strategically plan your next steps, to get to your goals, to help you be accountable.
And I hate to go back to the sports, but I'm pretty sure the Olympic athletes
have coaches.
And have for most of the time that they've been doing whatever it is they're doing.
And you and I have had so many coaches in the last couple of years. Right now I'm coach free, which feels really nice, which is funny that I'm coach free in business, but I took one in my personal life. So I always
balance.
Yeah, it's a balance. Sometimes you have to just let go of things and just go on your intuition for a little bit. And then when you hit that wall, get the help you need, which is where I'm at right now. So anyway, do condition yourself, set those goals, make them, mini actionable. That's how Dixie and I do it, and that's how I did it my year of daily riffs. And I think that is it, my friend.
I think that's it
for
but,
today.
Happy Riffiversary.
Thank you, Dixie. Thank you. And we'll be back next week. Well, let's
give a preview of the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. So next week we're talking about hope and offerings. So we've acknowledged what it is that's holding us back. Now we're going to be talking about what those next steps are. And then the week after that, we're going to start talking about support and accountability to make sure that you're actually working through those goals. Sound like fun.
And what's even exciting after that is we have a series of interviews coming up.
We do. I'm super excited.
Which we are so excited about. That's so fun. So we're going to be bringing a lot of just really great information. We'll explain it when we get there. But hop in the Facebook group. You'll be the first to know about everything.
Right.
And
the Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/Design+Style podcast. Or you can check us out on our website at designandstylepodcast.com. Yep.
We have a new website.
The old one will still get you there, but we have a new one since we've got so much new going on. It was time to grow and expand, and this is the first time I've said that out loud. So
I know. I was like, did you see my face when you gave me the new website? I was like,
if you weren't watching, if you're just listening, you need to go over to the video. Go over to the website. Forward to the end and watch Rachel's face.
All right, you guys. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.